How do you price effectively? We're going to talk about a few strategies to know that you can nail down your pricing. So most people get pricing wrong when they go about it. There's really two ways to look at your pricing. You go high or you go low. The place that you don't want to be is in the middle. And so I highly recommend that you go on the high end, but to really effectively understand how to price your services, you need to understand your margins. It needs to align with your core offer. So if you have group training as your core offer, you may not be able to charge $500 a month for that service. So that may be on the lower end of the spectrum, but in your community against your competitors, you could be at the higher end of your group training offerings. So you need to determine, are you going to be higher priced or lower priced? If you go higher priced, you're going to work more off of margins within your business. So you need to understand your cost, how much it costs you to run a session. And if you go on the lower side of things, you're going to have to go off of more volume, which is why those work for more of a group training strategy. A few other pricing strategies that we want to look at is there's some psychology behind pricing. And it's a little bit less important when you're nurturing a lead through the marketing of buying a front-end offer or of your core offer. But as you're pricing your core offer, I highly recommend that you fall just short of price breaks. So the price breaks that people have psychologically as they're thinking about making a buying decision are usually at that $99 range, right? So anything over $100 might be the cutoff point for some people. But at $99, they may make that purchase. And it's really just a psychological effect. It may not have a huge impact, but it definitely will have an impact within your business. So I encourage you to price out your programs that way and know what those price breaks are, and you know that by understanding the buying criteria, which we'll talk about how to define in a later course. You'll know that by the buying criteria of your clients and their price sensitivity. So as we go through and define your ideal client, you'll know whether they're willing to pay a little bit more depending on who they are, if they're a busy professional versus just someone that is a blue-collar worker or potentially someone that only makes, $40,000 or $50,000 a year. They may be a little bit more price sensitive, so you may have to price your programs that way to attract more of them. So you can see how this all aligns together as you go through your pricing strategy. Now, I did reference pricing breaks, and I want to talk about those with you today. Usually pricing breaks are going to come at the $100 mark, so anything under $100, so that $99 might be a price break. $199 is likely going to be a price break. Then from there, it probably jumps up to $399 or $499. There's going to be some bigger jumps. When you cross the $500 mark, there's really no price break there. It's a much higher price point, but very few people are selling $1,000 a month training. So figure out those price breaks, know what your price sensitivity is of your ideal client, and then you can work through setting a really effective price for your core offer. Now, how many prices should you have within your core offer? I typically recommend somewhere between 3 to 5 prices. So you're going to be able to position this in several different ways based off of what your core offer is. So you might have a 1-day, 2-day, 3-day type of offering. So you'd have 3 different levels of pricing for it there. Or you might have different lengths of time in which you have offers. So 3-month, 6-month, 12-month. A kind of a sweet spot might be a 2 or 3 day per week and then a 3 or 12-month offering. Those would be great ways to price your, effectively price your core offer. One other thing that I want you to work on as you go through your pricing strategy is understand that you set your price for what you're worth. Don't discount pricing. So most trainers will set up their pricing and say, well, my 1-month session or 1-month package is going to be $299. And then I'm going to discount everything, and I'm going to discount it if they sign up for 12 months to $199. Wrong way to go about that. If you need to make $299 or that's what you're worth, set that as your 12-month price and actually somewhat penalize clients for not buying that 12-month program. If that's the best program for them, set that as the price that you need to make and then add to it from there so that you know your lowest price point is always the one that you can make the most on or what you need to make. Everything else is just icing on the cake. Another huge concept and principle of your pricing strategy is going to be perceived value. So you need to be able to position your core offer as extremely valuable to your client. People will pay more for more that they think they're going to get. So when we talk about perceived value, it's not that you're not delivering it. It's that you make the offer what you're creating. So we talk about irresistible offers. It's that you make the offer you're making, so to your core offer, seem like so much more than what you're actually charging. You do that by adding on bonuses, talking about benefits, adding in features, putting a lot of bells and whistles into what you're actually providing them. And now the perceived value of that program, while you might be charging $299, is actually $599 to clients. That's how you create a truly irresistible offer. So how do you position your pricing? So as you're explaining pricing to clients, or as you're putting it into your marketing, it's important you understand how your client's going to receive that message. And so if we really look at a 12-month option at $200 per month, it's $2,400. They're basically not paying in full. They're financing that out month by month. So I hope that makes sense, right? So 12-month contract, $200 a month, is really $2,400 to your business. Instead of getting it up front, you're taking it at intervals. Well, the best way to position that is probably not to say, hey, we have this program that's $2,400. That's immediately going to steer some people away. So as you position your pricing, think about positioning it monthly versus annually. Think about positioning it potentially weekly versus monthly. So if I look at the positioning of that pricing, and I've got this set up so that it's monthly at $200, well, it's really $50 a week. That might seem more reasonable and affordable to your ideal client. So position it that way. Or you can break it all the way down per session. If that's 2 sessions a week, say it's just $25 per session. And so that's the easiest way to position your pricing. So what are some pitfalls of this? One of the biggest pitfalls that I see when people are creating an effective pricing strategy is they start out too high. And so if you're just starting out or you're just launching a program, you try to come out and be the highest in the market. That could be a mistake because it's much easier to increase your prices over time than it is to lower your prices once you've set this established price point. And so don't go out and jump the gun too early. Launch a small program, test the market, see what the pricing strategy might be, what the market will hold in terms of your pricing. So launch a program at $200 a month, and you know you eventually want to get it to $300. Then set some benchmarks. So as I get to 20 clients in that program, I'm going to raise it to $250. Then I'm going to raise it to $300 once I get to 50 clients. And so you can gradually test it to see what your market can hold. You can come back and charge less, but it's a much tougher thing to go about than if you go about doing it the way I just described, which is slowly ramping your way up doing that. The other pitfalls behind pricing is that people just truly don't understand what the costs of running their business are. They don't think about pricing it so that they are running on high margins. They're barely cutting by, so they don't understand what it truly costs to run their business, to run a session, to pay a trainer, to hire an admin, and all of that. So when you're breaking this down, understand your costs so that you can price and position your pricing effectively. And that's how you create a very effective pricing strategy.